About bringing in the light, bringing in the newness of the new year. I'd like to read something from Marianne Williamson's Illuminata. On New Year's Eve, I was here at the church, and Spirit was very specific in showing something to me and wanting me to bring this to your attention again. Darkness of the world calls up the light. Just as a sloppy room makes you wish someone else would clean it, and a messy room might even make you contemplate paying someone else to clean it, a severely messy room makes you get up and do it yourself, for the mess is impairing your ability to happily live there. Then there is desire, where before there was mere unfocused, wouldn't it be nice? This is the motivation of a civilization that reinvents itself. We want to do what we have not done. We want to produce not just marvelous machines or marvelous systems, but marvelous people who bring down the light. We are in this sense, no different than the people of any other age. From the trough in the water comes a rising of a wave. We are the wave now rising. And the fact that we have been so low increases the chances that our surge will be filled with awesome power. God calls to us, and our listening grows. He is always called, but we have rarely listened. Now, as our yearning reaches critical mass, there are millions of human hands cupped to human ears listening for the sounds of God. We have heard something beautiful. We want to hear more. There is nothing in this world that can truly give us peace, for peace lies in our transistence of this world. But our fervent wish is for the peace of God. We receive his peace when we ask him for it. We keep his peace by extending it to others. These are the keys, and there are no others. Spiritual wisdom is available to everyone, disseminated to the masses as never before in world history. Finally, a few trips to the library, and we have a pretty good sense of what all the masters have said. They have all said the same things. There is a mass discovery that Jesus is truth. The Torah is truth. Muhammad is truth. Krishna is truth. Buddha is truth. And so on. They are all truth, and they are all amongst us now. The New Jerusalem means the unification of the world's spiritual traditions. We live, as theologian Matthew Fox has said, in a post-denominational age. We are now at the crossroads of two huge, divergent points of views. One is materialistic, and one is mystical. One is worldly, and one is holy. One is based on the fear of the earth, and one has fallen in love. I used to think I was not religious, and perhaps I was not. I didn't like what organized religion had done to the world. I still do not. I have come to see, however, that true religion is internal, not external. The spirit within us cannot be blamed for the blasphemies carried out in his name. What has been done in the name of religion, projecting their neuroses, even perpetuating evil on the world, does not make religion a mystical phenomena invalid. In fact, nothing could be so relevant or so necessary in our world today as that we might carve out an inner kingdom for ourselves, dwell there with God, and to be cleansed. Experience of the Spirit breaks through illusions of our guilt and separateness. Religious institutions as such are not the only arbiters of religious experience. They do not own the truth, for truth, with capital T, cannot be owned. Nor should they think they hold some franchise on our spiritual life. They are consultants and frameworks, but they are not God himself. We should not confuse the path with the destination. It is simplistic to think that many Americans turned away from organized religion and now we're back, as if that's the whole story. We turned away from religion, found that life without conscious awareness of God is difficult, And now we're back to religion because that is theoretically where to find him. But we do not go back as a spiritually half-interested, complacent congregants that many of our parents were when we were growing up. We go back with an interest in actually having a religious experience. Organized religion will not be the same. It will step up to bat religiously or it will wither away. And we keep saying the foundations are starting to crumble. People aren't believing all that old-time stuff that they were told. They're not believing that they're the worms of the earth and that we have an unforgiving, unloving God that's going to send you to a place called hell if you don't do what he asked you to do. We are heirs to the kingdom. We are divine beings. We are our Father's children, and he loves us unconditionally. Have no doubt about that. He loves you unconditionally. Organized religious institutions are for a huge transformation for the simple reason that people have become genuinely religious in spite of them. Spirituality is an inner fire, a mystical sustenance that feeds our souls. Our connection to God is life itself. Our connection to God is life itself. Religion means to bind back. Its purpose is to turn us back to ourselves, to the well inside from which we are endlessly creative. God is a well that does not run dry. Religion is the process by which we constantly check in with God. Living in a society that undervalues the spirit, we who embrace it are tempted to apologize for our interest. We must stop apologizing, for no subject is more important. It is, after all, love's retrieval. It is the answer to global hate. To invalidate the spiritual life is to shoot at the fireman who is putting out the fire. The more we turn to God and ask him to use us for his purposes, the more the mind expands and illumines. We experience the peace of God more deeply and the joy of our natural innocence more often as we apply a genuinely religious commitment to all we think and to all that we do. The spiritual commitment is to make every situation an object of devotional connection. Now remember last week I talked about new beginnings. And I talked about what you focus on expands. And I talked about with new beginnings, sometimes that means bringing endings to things, either person, place, or thing. We're going to have an affirmation ceremony today of what you want to bring into your life. Remember, whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you persist in giving your attention to will manifest in your life, sometimes taking on a life of its own. Our outer world reflects the inner state of our consciousness, our inner being. We are connected to all of life. For years, we've conducted a negation ceremony, a burning bowl ceremony, and it consists of getting rid of what we no longer want or need in our lives on all levels. We have these little pieces of paper, we write what we want to get rid of, we burn the paper, done deal. No, not a done deal. That's all fine and well, but herein lies the problem with that ritual. Some of us would take that negative stuff and we'd let it go. Some of us would hold on to that negative stuff and we wouldn't let it go. A week or a month later, we'd still be thinking about what we wanted to negate or get out of our lives. Now you may question, well, isn't that what you want to do in a negation ceremony? Focus on what you want out of your life? But remember what I said. What you focus on does what? Expands. What you focus on gets bigger because of the energy, the mind power that you're feeding it. Ooh, that was one of those aha moments. I just saw the light bulbs come on again. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Pay attention to what you're paying attention